If you are over 60, let me ask you something honestly. Have your legs ever felt slower, heavier, or colder than they used to? Maybe just walking to the mailbox leaves you pausing for a moment. Maybe climbing the church steps on Sunday morning feels different now. Most older adults think it is simply age catching up, but many never consider something far more common. Something tied to what they eat every single day, something that quietly affects leg circulation. I started noticing this years ago, but it became unmistakable the day Robert, a 72-year-old Navy veteran, sat across from me and said, "Doc, I can still fix anything in my garage, but I cannot walk across Costco without my legs quitting on me." He thought it was age. He thought it was his joints. He even joked that he needed new batteries in his legs. But as we talked, it became clear. His poor leg circulation was not just aging. It was connected to foods he trusted, foods he grew up with, foods he never imagined could shape his blood flow after 60. I am Dr. James, and I want you to hear this gently. Many older adults do not realize their food choices can quietly slow leg circulation long before pain or swelling shows up. Your body is still trying to heal. It simply needs the right support. And understanding what influences blood flow after 60 is the first step toward getting your legs back. Before we go further, I want to know something, because your voice matters here. Have you ever wondered whether your food might be affecting your circulation? Comment 1 if yes, 0 if no. Stay with me. Number 7 is sitting in almost every American fridge, and it shocked Robert the day he learned what it was. Most older adults in America keep this food in their fridge without ever thinking twice about it. It is familiar, it is comforting, it is part of Sunday brunch, church potlucks, diner breakfasts, and quick sandwiches made in a hurry. Ham, bacon, deli turkey, the processed and smoked meats that shaped so many childhoods and still show up on our plates after 60. But what many people do not realize is that these very foods can quietly slow leg circulation long before pain or swelling ever appears. I will never forget the moment Robert, the 72-year-old Navy veteran I mentioned earlier, told me, "Doc, I can fix anything in my garage, but my legs give up halfway through Costco." He said it lightly, almost jokingly, but there was worry underneath. He truly believed it was age or maybe tired muscles. He never imagined that something as ordinary as his daily BLT sandwich could be tightening his arteries and thickening his blood. But that is exactly what processed meats often do, especially for older adults dealing with poor leg circulation or reduced blood flow after 60. Think about it like this. When too much salt is poured on winter roads, potholes form faster. The surface weakens. Traffic slows. Inside your body, high sodium and preservatives can irritate the lining of your arteries in the very same way. Your blood becomes a little thicker, the vessels become a little less flexible, your legs feel a little heavier. And because these changes happen quietly, day after day, many seniors blame age instead of seeing what their food is doing. I share this not to take away foods you love, but to help you feel stronger in your own body. Choosing nitrate-free options or lowering your weekly servings can gently support healthier leg circulation. Your body is still trying to heal. It simply needs fewer obstacles in its way. I want to ask you something, because your experience matters. Do you eat these meats weekly? Type yes in the comments or no if you rarely touch them. And stay with me, because number 6 looks healthier on the outside, but it can raise inflammation even faster than processed meats. If you are over 60, you have probably heard for years that cooking with vegetable oil is the healthier choice. It is what many older Americans switched to when doctors warned them about butter in the 80s. It is in fryers at church fundraisers, at county fairs, in fast food kitchens, and in the pan when you make a quick dinner for yourself. But what most seniors do not realize is that the oils used in deep fryers, fast food grills, and even in some home kitchens become more harmful each time they are heated. And these reheated oils can quietly increase inflammation that slows leg circulation far more than people expect. I remember a moment with a patient named Helen, a 68-year-old retired school teacher who loved the fried catfish served at her church's Friday night dinners. She told me, with a smile that faded as she spoke, "I feel good while I am eating it, but afterward my legs ache and feel heavy." She thought it was a coincidence. She thought it was age. But what she did not know was that reused oils create compounds that irritate the lining of the arteries, making blood flow after 60 work harder than it should. It is not the threat itself that causes the biggest problem. It is the way the oil behaves after being heated again and again. Think of those oils the way you think about an old garden hose left outside through winter. At first, it looks fine, but over time, it becomes stiff, brittle, and less willing to bend. Your arteries react the same way when they are repeatedly exposed to inflammatory oils. The blood has to push harder, the vessels lose flexibility, and many older adults begin to feel poor leg circulation not as a sudden symptom, but as a slow, creeping heaviness that shows up after meals and settles into the evening. This is not about giving up the foods you love. It is about giving your arteries a chance to breathe again. Using olive oil at home, choosing baked instead of fried when possible, or enjoying fried foods less often can help your body support smoother leg circulation. Your body is not failing. It is protecting you. It just needs less inflammation standing in its way. Tell me something honest. Do fried foods make your legs feel heavier afterward? Type yes or no in the comments. And stay with me, because number 5 is hiding in nearly every American breakfast, and it can tighten your arteries before your day even begins. If you are over 60, I want you to think about your mornings for a moment. Not the busy ones, but the quiet ones. The mornings when you sit at the kitchen table with a soft beam of sunlight coming through the blinds. The mornings when you pour your coffee, unwrap a muffin, or fill a bowl with cereal because it feels light, easy, and familiar. These small rituals seem harmless. But for many older Americans, sugary breakfast foods are one of the most overlooked reasons leg circulation slows down. I will never forget Linda, a 69-year-old grandmother who came to see me after months of heavy legs and afternoon fatigue. She told me, almost embarrassed, "Doc, I just have a blueberry muffin every morning. It is my little treat." She truly believed she was making a gentle choice. But what she did not know is that muffins, pastries, boxed cereals, pancakes, and breakfast bars can cause a quick spike in blood sugar that tightens the arteries for hours. And when blood vessels tighten, poor leg circulation becomes more noticeable. The legs feel heavier, the feet get colder, and blood flow after 60 becomes harder for the body to maintain. Think of your arteries as morning highways. When a surge of sugar hits your bloodstream, it is like squeezing every lane at once. Traffic slows, pressure builds, everything moves with more effort. This is why many older adults feel their legs dragging by lunchtime or sense a wave of tiredness that does not match the day they have had. It is not a weakness. It is not aging. It is simply the body responding to a morning routine that quietly asks the arteries to work harder than they need to. This is not about perfection. It is about giving your body a softer start to the day. Replacing sugary breakfasts with oatmeal, berries, yogurt without added sugar, or even eggs can support smoother leg circulation over time. Your mornings do not have to steal your energy. They can give it back to you. I want to hear from you. What do you usually eat for breakfast? Tell me in the comments, and let me know if you think it affects your energy or your circulation. And stay with me, because number 4 is even harder to spot. It feels comforting, it feels warm, but it quietly loads your arteries with more sodium than most people ever realize. If you are over 60, you probably know this feeling well. It is late afternoon or early evening, the house is quiet, cooking a full meal feels like too much for one person. So you reach for something simple, a warm bowl of canned soup, a frozen dinner you can pop into the microwave. Something that feels comforting, familiar, and easy. For many older Americans, these foods become a routine, especially when the days feel long and energy is low. But what most seniors never realize is that these convenience foods are some of the biggest reasons leg circulation slows down over time. I remember a woman named Carol, 74 years old, who told me, "Doc, I do not mind eating alone, but I hate cooking alone." So she relied on canned soups and frozen meals almost every night. She thought they were light. She thought they were gentle on her stomach. But each serving carried more sodium than her arteries could quietly handle. High sodium pulls fluid into the bloodstream and increases pressure against artery walls, making it harder for blood flow after 60 to move smoothly down to the legs and feet. Over time, Carol noticed her ankles swelling by evening and her legs feeling heavier after dinner. She thought it was aging. It was not. It was the salt. Think of sodium the way you think of adding water to a sponge. The sponge swells. It becomes heavier. It holds on to more than it needs. In your body, that swelling shows up as fluid retention, increased blood pressure, and the slow, dragging sensation of poor leg circulation. Many seniors mistake it for fatigue or weather changes, but it is the body quietly asking for relief. This does not mean you need to abandon comfort. It simply means giving your arteries a little kindness, choosing low-sodium versions, adding fresh vegetables to dilute the salt, or cooking a simple homemade soup once or twice a week can support smoother leg circulation. Your body appreciates every small shift you make in its favor. I want to know something from you. How often do you eat canned soups or frozen meals each week? Type the number in the comments. And stay with me. Because number 3 is the most misunderstood habit among older Americans. It feels harmless. It feels comforting. But for many people, it tightens the arteries for hours. If you are over 60, there is a good chance you start your day the same way millions of older Americans do. You pour a cup of coffee. Maybe you refill it once, maybe twice, maybe more on the days when you feel a little tired or a little lonely, or when you want something warm to keep you company through the morning. Coffee is part of our culture. It is the sound of a new day. It is the smell of comfort. It is the ritual many seniors rely on to feel awake and connected. And the truth is, a cup of coffee is not the problem. The issue begins when caffeine quietly adds up throughout the day, tightening arteries and slowing leg circulation without you noticing why. I often think about a man named Richard, 71 years old, who came to me because of aching legs, cold feet, and afternoon heaviness that seemed to arrive out of nowhere. He told me, "Doc, I do not drink soda, and I do not eat sweets. I am doing everything right." But then he paused and added, "I do drink 4 or 5 cups of coffee a day." It was not a confession. It was routine. It was how he filled the quiet hours after retirement. But high caffeine can trigger temporary artery constriction, making poor leg circulation feel worse and making blood flow after 60 work against extra resistance. Think of your arteries like flexible morning roads. They are meant to open and widen as the day asks more of your body. But too much caffeine is like narrowing those roads with cones and barriers. Blood still moves, but it moves with more effort. This is why so many older adults feel heaviness, restlessness, or cold toes in the afternoon, without realizing that their coffee refills from earlier in the day are still affecting them. It does not show up as a dramatic moment. It shows up as a slow tightening that makes your legs feel older than you are. This is not about taking away something you enjoy. It is about timing and balance. 1 cup in the morning can be comforting, but limiting additional cups after noon or switching your afternoon coffee to tea can gently support smoother leg circulation. Your body still listens to every choice you make, even the small ones. I want to hear from you. How many cups of coffee do you usually drink in a day? Type the number in the comments. And stay with me, because number 2 is even more surprising. It shows up at almost every dinner table in America, and for many older adults, it stiffens the arteries without them ever feeling a warning. If you are over 60, you probably grew up with these foods. They were on your family table, at Sunday dinners, at school lunches, at church gatherings, and in nearly every American pantry. White bread, bagels, biscuits, pasta, crackers, the soft, warm, familiar foods that feel safe because they have been with you your whole life. But for many older adults, these refined white flour foods quietly slow leg circulation in a way that rarely gets talked about. Not dramatically, not painfully, just slowly, year after year, until poor leg circulation begins to shape how the day feels. I often think about Harold, a 73-year-old retired mechanic who came to me because his legs felt heavy after short walks and his feet turned cold in the evenings. He sat down and said, "Doc, I do not eat junk. I keep it simple. Toast in the morning, a biscuit at lunch, pasta at night." He truly believed he was doing everything right. But simple does not always mean supportive. Refined white flour can trigger quick blood sugar rises and low-grade inflammation, making blood flow after 60 work much harder than it should. Harold did not feel it was a problem with food. He felt it as slowing, as heaviness, as legs that no longer matched the man he still felt like inside. Think of your arteries like brand new rubber bands meant to stretch with every heartbeat. But when white flour foods enter the bloodstream, it is like brushing those rubber bands with a thin layer of glue. They stiffen. They lose bounce. The blood still moves, but it moves through tighter, more reluctant pathways. And that slow narrowing is why leg circulation changes for so many older Americans. Not overnight, not suddenly, but quietly, causing staircases, grocery aisles, or neighborhood walks to feel heavier than they once did. This is not about removing comfort from your life. It is about adding kindness to your arteries. Swapping one refined item a day for whole grains or sourdough can gently support smoother leg circulation. Your body is still trying to heal, even now. It simply needs foods that help instead of holding it back. I want to ask you something, honestly. How many times a week do white bread or pasta show up in your meals? Type your number in the comments and tell me if you think it affects your leg circulation or your energy. And stay with me, because number one is the most surprising of all. It is tied to memories, holidays, and comfort, yet it quietly reduces circulation more than anything else on this list for people over 60. If you are over 60, this last one may surprise you the most, not because it is unusual, but because it is woven into the story of your life. Cookies are cooling on a kitchen counter, holiday pies, church bake sales, donuts picked up after Sunday service, biscuits baked on a cold morning. These foods carry memories. They carry warmth. They carry moments of family, tradition, and comfort. But for many older Americans, these baked goods are the number one contributor to poor leg circulation, not because of sugar alone, but because of the hidden trans fats and shortening many of them contain. I still remember a conversation with a woman named Ellen, 76 years old, who brought me a small tin of her famous homemade cookies. She said, with a proud smile, "Doc, I have been making these since my children were little." But then her smile softened, and she added, "My legs have felt so heavy lately, I cannot stand long enough to finish a batch anymore." She thought it was age. She thought it was arthritis. But as we talked, she learned something no one had ever explained to her. Trans fats can reduce nitric oxide, the natural chemical your arteries use to stay open and flexible. And when nitric oxide drops, leg circulation slows almost immediately. Blood flow after 60 becomes more difficult. The legs feel older. The feet feel colder. And simple joys, like baking, become harder. Imagine your arteries as a wide, open highway. Nitric oxide is the green light that keeps traffic moving, but trans fats flip those lights to yellow and then to red, narrowing the lanes and slowing everything down. Your heart pushes. Your blood moves. But it moves through tighter pathways that take more effort, leaving many seniors feeling tired, heavy, or chilled without knowing why. This is not about giving up memories or traditions. It is about choosing versions of them that help your body feel strong. Baking with butter or olive oil, choosing treats made without shortening, enjoying smaller portions. Every choice helps support smoother leg circulation, and your body notices. It always has. I want to hear your truth. Which baked good from your childhood still brings you comfort today? Type it in the comments and tell me whether you still enjoy it. And stay with me. Because I want to leave you with something hopeful. Your body can still change after 60. Your circulation can still respond. And your legs may feel lighter than you think. If you are over 60, I want you to take a slow breath with me. Because after everything we have talked about today, here is the truth I want you to carry in your heart. Your body has not stopped listening. Your legs have not stopped trying. Your circulation has not given up on you, even if you have felt heaviness, even if you have felt cold feet or slow steps or low energy. Your body is still fighting for you in ways you may no longer notice, and every small choice you make can gently support healthier leg circulation. I have seen this in so many older adults across this country, people who thought they were simply aging, people who believed their slowing legs were a permanent part of life after 60. But once they learned how food can affect blood flow after 60, once they shifted a few habits, once they added kindness to their meals instead of pressure, something remarkable happened. Their legs felt lighter, their evenings felt easier, their walks felt steadier. Not because they chased perfection, but because they chose consistency. And because the body responds to care at any age. Think of your arteries like a long American highway stretching across miles of open landscape. Some days, traffic slows. Some days, the roads feel worn. But highways can be maintained. They can be repaired. They can flow again. And so can you. Poor leg circulation does not define your age. It tells you what your body needs. It whispers for small changes, gentle shifts, moments of nourishment instead of habits that hold it back. So, here's the simplest thing you can do today. Choose one food from this list and swap it for something kinder to your arteries. Just one. Even a single change can create more room for circulation to move, more warmth to return to your feet, and more strength to come back to your steps. I want to hear your voice in this conversation. Which part of this video spoke to you the most? Tell me in the comments. Your story might be the encouragement someone else needs today. And if you want more calm, science-guided guidance for life after 60, I would love for you to subscribe. We are building a community where older adults feel seen, supported, and understood. You do not have to figure out your health alone. Your legs are still trying. Your heart is still trying. Your body is still trying. And you are far more capable of change than you may believe.